Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about internal audit and how it can apply to your life. People think internal auditors are like these scary people, like, ooh, we're out to get you. But no, it's actually the opposite. We're out here to save you and the company. This is going to be the path going forward. I'll explain what an internal auditor does within the company, whatever it is. I'll provide some sort of examples of, their work, what it results in, what types of things internal auditors are helpful for. And I'll show you a couple practical ways for you to apply it and our thinking into your life, into your day-to-day life, which is even better. Internal audit is an independent and objective review function within an organization that evaluates risks, controls, and governance processes. It's designed to add value to the organization and improve overall effectiveness, efficiency, and organizational operation. What this all means is that internal auditors are basically a third line of defense where they're able to pinpoint inconsistencies, errors, and a lot of judgment-based critical thinking into different business units and entities within the organization in order to find flaws and just lack of efficiency, lack of controls, lack of processes. I could go on and on. But the main point is to showcase this to management in those respective entities and then figure out a plan going forward in order to remediate it. And so one of the key principles that I've learned over the past year of being an internal auditor is trust but verify. It gives you the benefit of the doubt to the entity that provides you this information. But as an independent and objective auditor, you need to verify that this information is not only correct and that it's accurate. Essentially, you're making sure that it's complete and accurate. So I went through that. That's what an internal auditor does. We are very different from external auditors because we are still within the organization. We aren't the auditors that go into the organization's business units and then blow stuff up and say, all right, cool, now we're done. We can leave. No, we actually stick by with the business unit throughout the remediation process in order to ensure that they completely understand the agreed action that they're taking in order to satisfy the root cause of that issue and, prevent it from happening again. That's basically the bottom line. So here, I'll give you a couple examples of this. Number one, if you work at like a clothing store and you have an internal audit team coming in to verify, all the employees' cash handling procedures. If the store manager says they're great, but he doesn't have any sort of check, that's what a control is. If he doesn't have any sort of like manager control to check and verify or to review and approve what each employee is doing, that's a problem because who knows what these employees could be doing. They could be pocketing hundreds of dollars. This used to happen at one of my prior workplaces. So an internal auditor will come in, they'll see this, they'll create an issue, a finding, where the manager will have to figure out a procedure that they will include a control, a management control, in order to ensure that stuff like that doesn't happen. Another example could be in lab. I used to volunteer, be in lab. Like I was a biochem major, so I was in lab pretty much for all 4 years of my undergraduate degree. But a big part of lab is knowing what the fuck you're doing. Half the time, I didn't know shit. I still don't, but especially in lab when you're mixing a bunch of chemicals together, you're trying to figure out what's going to happen if I mix that with this. It's important to have some sort of adult supervision. That could be a control. It's also good to have like a graduate assistant, a PhD student in that sort of sense, overseeing what you're doing to make sure nothing bad happens. One time in OChem class, one of my buddies in the booth next to us, he mixed something he wasn't supposed to. Shit started exploding and we had to evacuate because he thought, I don't know, he thought one of the vials was what we were supposed to mix in with the other solution, but it was a different one, and so that caused a fucking explosion. And then, yeah. Anyways, I think that's good on the examples. I'm going to move into how this can help you in your daily life. And the way I look about doing this is I want to make sure that you guys understand how to implement it into your life. But at the end of the day, the ways that I break it down is that I want you guys to start making more money or have a better impact in your health and overall well-being, mental health, that kind of stuff, making more money, and then just overall health and well-being. Those are kind of like the two factors I look at when creating these actionable ways to implement into your life. And the basis of this is just based on the principle of trust and verify. As an internal auditor, we get a lot of documentation, we get a lot of information from all the business units, all different types of people saying, here's this document, here's this information, yada, yada, yada. We have to be the ones to say, okay, yeah, thanks for this. I trust that, you're in your job for a reason and that this is the document that I should be using. But it's also important that we use source documentation to trace back to where this person got this document and the information within it. So number one is hiring freelancers and or contractors for any sort of job you need. When hiring a professional, you trust that they sort of know what they're doing. I'm a newbie on Fiverr. I had about 4 gigs that I never sold anything, but it was probably because I was new and I should have had a bunch of friends bump that shit up, but I didn't. And so a lot of people were skeptical. They're like, okay, well, what kind of work is he going to do? Is it going to be good? Does he even know my industry? Yada, yada, yada. Which is good because they're using this in their own life. But it's bad for me because I didn't do my job to showcase and demonstrate what I can do. And so you want to make sure that when you are hiring freelancers, contractors, any sort of thing of that nature, you want to trust that they know what they're doing, but also verify with, references. That's why Google reviews and like Yelp reviews, that's why those are so big, because us as humans, we trust other humans, especially in review sections. If you see something that's 4.9 with like 10 reviews, you're like, okay, it might be kind of good. If you see something that's like 4.4 with like thousands of reviews, that's really good. But if you see something that's 5 stars with 1 review, if you see something that's 1 star with 50 reviews, yeah, obviously we're not going to do that. We're not going to that person. We're not going to that restaurant. That sounds horrible. All in all, for that, ask for references, call 1 or 2 of them. You want to make sure that they do a good job. View their previous work. If it's like a website designer, ask to see some of their website and then just confirm some of the testimonials that they show. Obviously, on Fiverr, you're able to have customer testimonials, but it's good to verify some of those. Number 2, I'm sure we've seen a lot of these types of ads. You're scrolling TikTok, you're scrolling Instagram, looking at funny reels. I'm not going to go into what type of reels. We all have our, For You pages. You're scrolling reels and you find an ad about some stupid fucking course. Oh man, I fucking hate these. Sure, it's always some guru talking about, hey, like, you can make $20,000 a month doing this one simple hack. You can make $50,000 a month using AI for some bullshit. No. You can't. He can't. He's getting money based off you spending on that stupid course. He didn't do shit. So using internal audit principle of trust but verify, sure, you could trust him. He's got some flashy shit. He's showing his car. He's showing his Rolex, whatever. You're like, okay, that's cool, but you should verify. And a lot of their testimonials are most likely fake. You can AI that shit to show you have, 1,000 5-star reviews about, oh, like, this course changed my life. Oh, I made like $20,000 a day, day trading, blah, blah, blah. But you need to do your own due diligence and go to a source. You can even ask your friends, like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? One time, I almost got dragged into a pyramid scheme. I'm so glad I had my friends and family there because they're like, dude, what the fuck? I did not have this principle back then. I was like, oh wow, I can talk to people and like sell some stuff and then have, customers and my own store and like clients and start making a bunch of money? Yeah, no, that was a scam. So the big thing is just to ask yourself, is this a scam? Most likely, if you have to ask that question, it is. But is what these people are saying backed by fact? Or is it just hype? Are they just showing you and fear mongering in order for you to open up your wallet, pay them for their course, and then be on their fucking merry way while you're left $5,000 less? Number three, this is a big one. I love going to the gym. I love working out. I haven't in a long time. And by that, I mean like 3 months just because of an injury. But I still run and I just love having an active lifestyle. One thing I hate is a lot of like fitness ads, supplements for shit no one really needs. There's so many influencers nowadays coming out with new diets, new workout plans, new supplements. And again, like if that suits your body, if you have the money to pay for it, then sure, whatever. I don't care. But it's important that you trust but verify. You want to verify that this stuff is legit. You have to verify that what you're consuming in your body is actually good for you, whether it's safe and if it's science backed, and not that, random science bullshit. Go to like PubMed and primary source documentation showing and illustrating research that's been thoroughly investigated and experimented for these types of products. Like I only use specific whey proteins because I know the brand, I trust the brand, and they're fucking delicious. I only use specific creatine because I know the brand, I trust the brand, and it's legit. Those are the two supplements I use. That's it. Whey and creatine. But then you have all this other stuff like BCAAs, like I understand that. You have other stuff like pre. Okay, well, I use pre. Then you get into weird stuff. Then you have all this weird stuff and like weird pills that you can start taking. I'm not even going to go into the details because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. As I say that as I close like 10 tabs of weird supplements. So, all in all, for that, make sure you research your products and trust the company. A lot of the owners for some of these companies have Instagram, have TikTok. Go look at them. Try to see if they're a genuine person or not. But again, like you really don't need more than whey, creatine, and pre. You don't even need pre. And sometimes if you get whole foods and enough protein, you don't even need whey. Creatine, maybe if you're like an actual gym goer, but even then, if you're not, you don't really need anything. All right, number 4. This will go into the second bucket of helping your overall well-being, your mental health, that kind of stuff. So I see a lot of things online about productivity hacks, wellness hacks. I'm not going to try them. Maybe in a different video, but I see a lot of like journaling, which I love. I do that, but some like cold plunges, saunas, waking up at 4 a.m., taking a cold shower, running in the cold. A lot of cold stuff. Cold exposure is actually really big. It has been researched. I don't do it. I don't have a cold plunge. I think my sister's done it once. Maybe I'll call her and ask her. But I think it does earn the hype and you can trust the hype. But again, going back to our principle, trust but verify. You want to make sure you verify this information, again, by science-based research. I'm sure there's thousands of publications about cold exposure, cold plunges, cold showers, blah, blah, blah. But you have to see if it actually does what it's saying it's doing. If it says like boost your immune system and your efficiency and your productivity by 200%, that seems kind of sus. Not gonna lie. But if it's, boosted by 20%, boosted by 10%, maybe that's true. But is 10% worth all that trouble? I don't know. That's for you to decide. You have to notice what's placebo and what's actually real. Oh, I gotta insert that. Insert that meme, bro. I don't know how much of this video is memeable. Maybe I'll just have a whole video of just like SpongeBob memes. That whole show is memeable. Man, not gonna lie. I did not want to record today. I might keep this in here. I did not want to record today, but I did. So proud of you, man. Journaling is god tier. I do at least 5 minutes, even 5 minutes a day, just writing down your thoughts. I usually do it write down, so 2 to 3 emotions, things I've accomplished in the day, and then like an aim for the next day. One aim. My aim tomorrow, go on a walk with a friend. Simple. My aim for Thursday, hit the gym. My aim for Friday, call my freaking doctor and ask him how the MRI went. It does work. Today's aim was to record. I'm doing it. So all in all, be the friend, be the person who trusts people. It's not bad to trust people, but you also want to verify. It's for your own sanity. Like, sure, you might be overcautious. People might think you're a piece of shit, but you're doing it for yourself. Half the people you meet, more than half the people you meet, you make friends. They're not going to be your lifetime friend. I have a bunch of people like that. It is what it is. Everyone makes mistakes. Shit happens, but you'll always have this principle in your mind going forward. So internal auditing, we're not scary people. We're here to help. By adopting this trust but verify principle, you're not only reducing risk, but you're also setting yourself up for success. You're staying grounded. You're taking a step back in that situation, in that scenario, and looking at it from the top down and thinking, is this really true? And so if this video helped you out in any way, please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you'll start using this principle in your life. And I'll see you guys in the next one.